Happy St. Joseph's Day. Let's make Zeppole, or also known as St. Joseph's cake. Cuciniamo. Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 19th. Welcome to Cuciniamo with Johnny V. I am Johnny V, and today is St. Joseph's Day. So happy St. Joseph's Day to everybody out there who's named Joseph, Josephine, Giuseppe, any variation, but specifically to my son, Joseph, happy St. Joseph's Day. Today I'm making St. Joseph's cake, known as Zeppole. Some call it Sfingy, but Sfingy is more of a Sicilian style. But today I'm going to be making the St. Joseph's cake. Right now, what I'm going to be doing is using or making the filling, which I prefer the cannoli filling over a cream-based filling. So I'll be doing that. What I have is a 1 pound, 12 ounce container of Galbani classic ricotta. Now, you can make your own ricotta. I choose not to because this was $3.99. And for me to make my own ricotta, I would have to buy a gallon of milk, gallon of heavy cream. More expensive. Yes, it's probably a little bit better, but Galbani is a good brand to use. That's one of the brands that I normally go to. I bought this yesterday, and I put it in a sieve and over a bowl and set it in the refrigerator overnight so it could drain. And you could see here all the liquid that drained from this. So I'm going to dump that. We're going to put this in the bowl, and then we're going to mix it with some powdered sugar, which here is a little, it's about 1 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, because that's 1 pound, 12 ounces, not a full 2 pound. And then I have similarly 1 3/4 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate morsels, as well as a tablespoon of vanilla extract that will go in there, and we'll mix that. We'll mix it, we'll pipe it into we'll put it into a piping bag. Then I'm going to place it back into the refrigerator to let it just firm up a little bit. While I'm doing that, while that's doing that, then I will make the choux pastry, and I'm going to bake it instead of frying them. So let me get started. I'm going to empty this liquid out and then show you how to mix it. Okay, so I emptied the liquid and I put it in another bowl a little bit bigger so I could mix it better. And just to be clear, that normally when you're making this, you could use a 16 ounce or a 15 ounce container of ricotta, and then you would just have 1 cup of powdered sugar, about a cup of mini chocolate morsels, and probably about a half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And you can, as you mix it, taste it to see how you like. Some people put heavy cream in it. Some people put mascarpone. I don't. I just do the classic, so to speak. So I'm going to push this down. And the reason why you let it drain overnight is to get all that liquid out so that it's not too wet when you're mixing it, and it's not too runny. It keeps it nice and dry, as you can see here. So now I'm just going to throw in my vanilla. I'm going to toss in the powdered sugar, confectioner sugar. I want to mix it. I'm not going to put in the chips until this is all incorporated. So as I do that, we'll come back and put in the chips. Now it's time to add in the mini or semi-sweet chocolate chips. Just mix them in. Okay, mixed the chocolate chips in there, and now I'm just going to put it in my piping bag. This is the part that I hate, because sometimes I spill it. Found it easy to use a big cup to put it in, put the bag in, and then push it all down. So let me finish this, and then I'll show you it in the bag. Okay, it's all in the bag, and I had to save just a spoonful just to taste some. I did taste it when I was mixing it, and it didn't need anything extra added. Great. This is the bag. I'm just going to push it down, twist it, and I'm just going to put it in the refrigerator to chill even more, even though it was chilled overnight, but to chill more. And then now I'll start working on the actual pastry, and I'll show you that. So the next step in making the St. Joseph's cake is making the pastry, which is called a choux. CHIOUX. And normally, if you're just making one batch, you would use 1 stick of butter. You would use 1 cup of flour, a half a teaspoon, I believe, of sugar, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah, half a teaspoon, or a teaspoon of sugar, sorry. 8 ounces of water. So the first thing we're going to start is melting the butter. I'm doubling the recipe, so I'm using 2 sticks of butter. I'm going to pour in the water and the sugar. After this comes to a rolling boil, I'll put the flour in, and I'll start mixing it with a wooden spoon to get it all incorporated, and then we'll take it off the stove and start adding in the eggs. You use 4 eggs for 1 batch. I'm using 8 eggs at room temperature, and you'll add them in one at a time and stir them in there. So I'll show you that. Once this starts to boil, let me add the sugar. I did add the sugar, sorry. Once I do that, I'll come back and show you. The butter, water, and sugar is now boiling. I'm going to add in the 2 cups of flour. And again, this is double recipe, so that's why it's 2 cups of flour. This is 00 flour that I'm using. We're going to pour it in, and we're going to stir it vigorously with a wooden spoon. And we're going to do this for about a minute. And then once it's all incorporated, we'll remove it from the heat and let it cool a little bit before we start adding the eggs. And you do this so that it cooks down the flour. And you'll see it won't stick to the pan. It comes right off. Let me show you. Comes right, off as you're doing it, so you're not burning it. I moved you over here. I put this in a clear bowl just so that you could see it better. And I'm going to stir it, and then I'm going to push it off to the side like this. Just so it cools a little bit quicker, because we don't want to add the eggs in and have the eggs cook like you're cooking scrambled eggs. So I'm going to let that cool, and we're going to add in an egg one at a time and mix it in, and then add the next one, add the next one. Again, this is 8 eggs at room temperature. I'm going to start incorporating the eggs. Again, one at a time. We're just going to mix it with the wooden spoon. We're going to keep doing this until all eggs are incorporated. So I'll do all this and I'll get back to you. Let me tell you something. This is a workout when you do it, because you have to make sure that it is all incorporated and it gets heavier and heavier as you're doing it. But you want to make sure that it's this type of consistency. Okay? And you want to make sure that the eggs are fully incorporated. No runniness of the whites, making sure the yolk is incorporated. So now I'm going to put this in my piping bag, and then we'll pipe them into the actual pastry, and they'll go in an oven for 30 minutes on 400 degrees. Okay, so we're ready to pipe this out into circles. I am not the best piper. My daughter pipes better, and I don't have a 1-inch star tip piping tip, so I'm going to pipe this a couple times around. So that's that one. Let's do another one. So I'm going to start in the center and go out. Because I slice these open to fill them, and I like them to be solid in the bottom. I don't think I'm doing a bad job here. Do this one. So let me finish these, and then I'll put, right now I've got 12 of them piped out. And I'm just waiting for the oven to reach 400 degrees. They'll go in there for 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, turn it off and open the door for another 10 more minutes and let them sit in there for 10 more minutes with the doors open. So these just came out of the oven. They were in there for 30 minutes, baking on 400. Turn the oven off and let them sit in the oven for 10 more minutes. I think they came out great. Look at them, nice and big. I'm going to let them cool for a minute or two and then put them on a wire rack. I'm going to fill one for all of you to see how it's filled. I'm not going to fill them all until I'm ready to actually put them together and give them to who I want to give them to. I do want to make a correction, because in the beginning when I was making the dough, I spelt it C-H-I-O-U-X. It's actually C-H-O-U-X, and it's pronounced shoe. I did pronounce it right. I just spelt it incorrectly. So I don't want people coming back at me and telling me I spelt it incorrectly or not. So just to let you know that. I was able to make an additional 6 more with the recipe I made, even though it was a doubled recipe. These were 12, so 6 more makes it 18. Probably would have been 24, but because I made these a little bit bigger, that's why I'm only getting 18 out of it. So I will show you in a little bit. Not sure what happened, but the tip is underneath. Just gonna pipe it anyway. I'm gonna fill this with the cannoli cream. Put the cover back on. Put a little dollop up top. Put this back in. I'm gonna put a little cherry on top. Now it's a maraschino cherry. I'm supposed to use the Namoreno cherry. Don't have them, can't get them. So I'm using the maraschino cherry. And then we're gonna douse it with some powdered sugar. And this is the St. Joseph cake, also known as Zeppole. Enjoy. Or I know I will enjoy. But if you make them, enjoy.